All right. At W Grabovak. What's up, Will? What does your route look like the rest of the way to feel good about NCAA hoops / what are the wins that could move the needle outside of at Illinois? So I'm going to focus on the second part of that question first. What are the wins that can move the needle outside of at Illinois for Ohio State to make the NCAA tournament? So right now, as it stands, they're the 30th ranked team in the net. I pause because my cat is being an idiot. 30th in the net. They're 2-3 on the road. They're 3-6 in quad 1, and they're 1-2 in quad 2 with 0 quad 3 or quad 4 losses. So there are some games right now that you can just pencil in. They're guaranteed to be a quad 1 or quad 2 win. Minnesota, permanent quad 2 win. Minnesota would have to jump about 25 spots in the net for that to move up to a quad 1 win. It's not going to happen. That's going to be a quad 2 game. You look at Purdue, Kentucky, and Texas. All of those permanent quad 1 wins. Texas could drop. They could go up. It really doesn't matter. That's a quad 1 game. Same for Kentucky. I think they're like 12th in the net right now. I don't have that up. And Purdue, very similar to Kentucky. Permanent quad 1 wins, especially because that game is at Purdue. Now, in the short term for Ohio State, you look at Penn State and at Nebraska. Those are going to be quad 1 wins if Ohio State gets them. Penn State ranked pretty high right now. Nebraska, pretty high as well. And for quad 1 wins, I think you have to be top 75 in the net if it's an away game to be a quad 1 win. Penn State, Nebraska will comfortably be there. So those two games may not feel like the biggest deal for Ohio State, but when it comes to building up that resume, you check off 2 boxes there because number 1, you have quad 1 win. Number 2, you have it's an away game. Away wins are something that the committee looks at, and it's something that those bottom teams, those bubble teams just trying to get in, something they're always very, very weak in. So Ohio State, if they pick up wins against just Penn State and Nebraska, they'll have 4 road wins. If you get to 5, 6, 7, 8 especially, you're in. Forget about it. You're in the NCAA tournament. So that's something that Ohio State can look at. And then obviously the Buckeyes go to UCLA and to USC. Those are going to be important wins for Ohio State. They've got Iowa at home. There's no must-win games for Ohio State at this point. Really, you've got to make up for the Michigan State game. You've got to make up for the Oregon game. You've got to make up for the Pitt game. Those games that you very could have easily won but didn't, and that would have you as like a 7 seed right now had you won those games. You've got to make up for that. So you can't really afford to lose to Iowa. If you're going to lose to Michigan State, that's fine. Should have won that game. If you're going to lose to Oregon, that's fine. You should have won that game. But now we got to make up for it. So if you want to lose to Oregon, that's fine. Go beat Iowa at home. You just have to. So that's what I see for Ohio State. Again, you've got Maryland, you've got at Illinois, you've got Michigan at home. I already mentioned UCLA. All those games will be quad 1 too. Quad 1 as well. So the Buckeyes have some chances. Now, right now, betting odds, just so you're aware, they're minus 156 to make the tournament according to FanDuel, plus 120 to not make the NCAA tournament. So if you're feeling really pessimistic about Ohio State, you can go bet it. You can put your money where your mouth is and say Buckeyes aren't going to make the tournament. They're plus 20 to not make it. Almost identical odds on BetMGM. I think those are the only 2 places that I saw where you can get some action on a yes, no, is the team going to make the NCAA tournament? So do I think Ohio State is going to make the tournament? If I had to guess still at this point, I would say no. I have not seen enough consistency out of Ohio State to make me believe that they will make the NCAA tournament. That Purdue win is huge. It's great. And they have better wins than they had last season at this point. And that springs Ohio State several spots closer to being on the bubble and in the NCAA tournament than at this time last year for Ohio State when the losing streak was just beginning for Chris Holtmann. However, I said it against Indiana. Why is Ohio State favored by 8 points? Even without Devin Royal, I get it. And Indiana doesn't have Malik Renew. That felt like a lot of points. And I said on that show, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, what has Ohio State shown us to say, yeah, we should be confident that they can beat Indiana by almost 10 points, even at home? Didn't matter. Indiana ends up winning that game in overtime. When Ohio State plays Iowa, I won't be shocked if the Buckeyes lose. That's a really good offense that Iowa has. They run up and down the floor, so I think it's a good matchup for Ohio State, but I won't be surprised if they lose. Overall, obviously, I hope Ohio State makes the tournament. I hope Jake Diebler can guide this team there, and maybe they win 1 or 2 in the NCAA tournament, finally get to the Sweet 16. I don't know. But all in all, right now, I don't think that they will do it. This schedule's really, really tough, so they can win less games than other teams need to win and still get in because those games will mean more. But at this point, I haven't seen the consistency from Ohio State in order to get there.